Hello, everyone. My name is Mystical Essence, and welcome back for another pick a card reading. If you're new to my channel, welcome to the channel. For those of you who are new to my channel and might not know who I am or what I do, I am a intuitive tarot card reader, advisor, consultant, whatever you want to call me. I read tarot cards. I also do I also do astrology. So I do astrology readings. I read your birth chart. I read birth charts, um, solar return charts, that kind of stuff. And I also do spiritual mentoring as well. So if you are new to my channel and you're new to watching me, please feel free to click the subscribe button and the bell button below to get notified of any new videos that I may post if you want to follow me. And if you're not new to my channel, then welcome back for another pick a card reading. This week, we're just going to do what Spirit wants you to know. If you would like to follow me on any of my social medias, my other social medias, the links to all of those are down below in the description. If you would like a private reading, there is also a link to my Etsy shop where you can get a private reading with me as well. So, yeah, let's jump into these readings. So first of all, I'm going to show you guys 3 cards, and what I want you to do is pick the card that you are most drawn to, and that will give you an idea of what reading to pay attention to. You can pick one card, you can pick multiple cards. It's totally up to you, whatever you feel drawn to. The timestamps to each of the readings will also be in the description below. So the first card we have is the Knight of Wands. So if you are drawn to this card, you want to pay attention to pile number 1 or reading number 1. The next card we have is Strength. So if you are pulled to this card, you want to pay attention. When I can talk, you want to pay attention to pile number 2. My math is not working with me today, guys. Sorry. So the Strength card is pile number 2. And then we have, last but not least, is pile number 3, and it is the Page of Pentacles. Page of Pentacles. You are pulled to this card. You want to pay attention to pile number 3. And again, the timestamps will be in the description below. So let's jump into this. I have pre-shuffled the decks just to make this a little bit faster. So, because the way I shuffle, I take whatever cards fall out. So sometimes it can take a bit to shuffle them, and I know it can get boring kind of watching me shuffle. So I have pre-shuffled the cards. We have the decks right here, all the different piles. So we're going to start with pile number 1, and we're going to move these other piles away. So pile number 1, what we got for pile number 1, we have the first card is Commitment. So with this card, I felt what came through was you guys are committing to new, maybe not new things, but you're making a new commitment to something, right? This could be a health regime. This could be a new diet. This could be, I felt for a lot of you, this was like goals and aspirations. Like you guys were setting new goals for yourselves and making a commitment to really achieve those goals. When I pulled this card, the image that came through was almost like a race, and you were pushing through to the finish line. Like you could see the whole race all the way through to the finish line, and it was like, that's your goal, right? And that determination and that commitment came through. So I think for most of you, or at least a good chunk of you, this is talking about making a new commitment to a goal or an aspiration of some sort. Sorry, I always mispronounce that word. Of some sort. You have an end goal in mind. You have a point of where you want to be in mind, and you're really committing yourself and making that commitment right now to get there. Now, some of you, this, like I said, some of you, this might not be a goal. This might be like a new, but even if you start a new diet or something along the lines of that, it's still a commitment to keep it going, right? And to continue doing that. And it could even be a goal to, do this for so many days, right? When you start a diet, you make a commitment and you set a goal to kind of keep it going. So I guess in that sense, it would be a goal as well. But I feel this sense of goal came through really, really strong for you guys. So the next card that comes up is the Four of Cups. The Four of Cups is telling me this is like your present energy or kind of what you need to be working on right now. So with the Four of Cups, I'm feeling a lot of like bored energy coming in, a lot of contemplation, a lot of reflection coming through with this card. There's a lot of contemplation and reflection coming through with this card. And I felt like this sense of boredom, but also the sense of like reassessment, right? Of thinking over things, of sitting in this spot where you're safe and you're secure and, where you kind of plateaued, when you hit that energy point where things just remain the same. And sometimes you find yourself in that point where you're reflecting on things and you're going back over things and just kind of thinking about things. I feel like for a lot of you, you're in this moment of contemplation. You're not emotionally up or down. I feel like you're kind of meh, like things are what they are, and I'm content with the way things are. But it's also got you kind of thinking about things and contemplating things. I definitely see that big contemplation going on. But with the feeling, for those of you who are really feeling bored, I feel like this is definitely being expanded or has been expanded recently. Maybe since the past full moon, or you're really kind of noticing this. It's kind of just been an energy that has been expanded recently for you. I don't feel like this is something that you guys have been dealing with for long, but it is definitely something that has grown over over the past like little while, and fairly recently. So with the moon card, I definitely feel like this has been something that has been, like I said, really illuminated and expanded. If you can see when you look at this moon card, how big that moon is, right? It's like those, and the moon always represents your emotions as well. It ties into your emotions. So this sense of contemplation, this sense of boredom, this sense of reflection, right, is really, really being expanded. And it seems to be your focal point right now as well. That moon in that card, you can't miss it. It is the focal point. So I feel like for you guys, there's been a lot of focus put on this as well. It's been expanded. It's the energy that you're really, really feeling, but it's also, which makes it a really big focus for you guys. So we do have the Ten of Swords coming up next. I feel like this is like a lot of you might be focusing on or thinking about ways to change stuff up. Like I said, with the commitment card, it was coming through that maybe some of you were making new commitments to things, right? I feel like a lot of you have been doing stuff, but not really necessarily being happy and satisfied with things you have been doing. And this is a good time to pull the card that was under the deck up. So we have the Fool underneath of the deck that came up as the bottom card. And the Fool to me represents wanting to start a new journey, right? So there's this definitely this sense of restless energy lying underneath the surface. And I think that's what's got you guys like really looking at things and contemplating things, and what has expanded this energy of boredness and saying something. I feel like I keep hearing change as I'm talking about this. So this feeling of something needs to change. The Fool is connected to Uranus energy, which is all about shaking things up and changing things and being innovative with things, right? Starting those new journeys. But Uranus energy is also fixed. Uranus rules um, it rules Aquarius, which is a fixed sign. So even though this energy likes to switch things up, it's also an energy that likes to see things through till the end, right? They're not switching something up without a plan. Uranus rules Aquarius. Aquarius is all about the future, right? What the future looks like for us. So there is a destination, there is a plan. And like I said, you guys are really committed to seeing this through with that commitment card. I said you guys can see the finish line, right? You see your destination, you see where you want to go, and you're very committed to getting there. But there is, I feel like what has stirred all of this is this restlessness underneath the surface. And I feel like that is coming from two. Part of that that's contributing to that is you not being mentally satisfied with whatever it is, with the path you're on now, or whatever it is that you're doing now. Seems like more of a burden than anything to you guys. You are not, you're working your butts off, you're doing things. I'm going to say working your butts off because work, it doesn't always necessarily mean like monetary work. It can be so many different things, but you're putting all this energy, time, and effort into things, and it's just, it feels like a lot. But with that Ten of Swords, what comes through too is this commitment to see things through, right? This determination to get through to the end of it. But I feel like you guys have had this huge determination, and you continue to have this determination because this is who you are. But your determination to this point has brought you to somewhere you don't want to be, right? Somewhere that's not satisfying for you. And that's why you're making new goals. You're reassessing things, right? And you're wanting to start on these new journeys. And Spirit is telling you, like, now's the time to change things up. If you are not satisfied with where you are in your life, if you have been working your behind off, and you're just mentally exhausted, you're not satisfied with where you are, you have the power to change this. This can be changed. And I feel like that is the energy that you guys are really feeling. You guys want, because the last card that came up was the Ten of Cups with the Hierophant reverse. So you guys want to do stuff. You guys, your end goal is to be happy, right? To be satisfied with what it is you are doing. You guys don't want to do what you do in life out of obligation. You don't want to do what you do out of life. Well, you don't want to do what you do in life and have it feel like more of a burden and just leave you mentally exhausted. You want to really do what you do in life to enjoy it. You want to enjoy life. You want to enjoy what you do. You want to enjoy the path you're on. You want to enjoy the journey, right? You don't want it to feel like an obligation and like it's a responsibility. And I feel like that is kind of what's coming up for you guys. You guys are at this point of wanting to switch things. You're determined and you're committed to making a change in your life and to seeing that change through all the way to the end, because you guys really aren't satisfied with where you are right now and you want to be somewhere different. The advice I'm getting for how you can go about this, there is more. Let me see if I can rearrange these cards here so that I got more space to put this down. Okay, perfect. That works. So the advice that we got on how you guys can go about creating this change, how do you go about following the path that you really want? So what came up for that, we have the Eight of Wands and the Three of Cups, sorry, came up together. We had the Hermit card come out, and we also had the Six of Cups with the Six of Wands. So 2 sixes. So how you can go about creating this change and changing things up that the way you want is getting out and socializing, bringing in new energy, and that energy is coming from other people. A lot of these cards that I pulled for your original part, the first part, all except for the Ten of Cups at the end, was alone. These people were alone. The Four of Cups, Four of Cups, alone. The Moon, alone. Ten of Swords, alone. Ten of Cups, not alone. There's the 2 swans, and then there's the goslings. So there is this sense, even the Fool underneath it, alone. So I feel like you guys are definitely people who like to do things alone, but the Spirit is saying you don't have to do it alone. There is power in community. There's power in connecting with other people. So when you're tired and you're lacking energy or you're feeling stuck, getting out and socializing with other people is going to help you to keep you moving forward. So we have the Eight of Wands coming up, which is a lot of energy coming in. It's this forward moving energy, right? It's that energy that keeps us moving forward, just keeps us going. But behind it is the Three of Cups. The Three of Cups is all about friendships, community, support, right? So this is in itself is advising you to go out, connect with other people. These could be friends, social circles, whatever the case may be, family members even. But you need to connect with other people, because it is going to be in connecting with other people that you find the energy to keep moving. You need to have some fun. That's the other thing. You need to have some fun. The Three of Cups is all about celebrations and fun and enjoyment as well, right? It is going out and socializing with other people and having fun that is going to give you the energy you need to keep moving forward. Okay, you guys are really, the Hermit card is coming up and it's facing the Eight of Wands. Now, the Hermit card generally means going within, but the word that came up with this was Virgo. And Virgo is the sign that rules the 6th house in astrology, and 6th house is the area of our life that has to do with our day-to-day routines. So Virgos are they're a sign connected to routine as well, right? So the fact that this card was looking at this card is like, you have to break out of this routine, this everyday thing that you got going on, of isolating yourself, of keeping to yourself. You have to break out of that, because that is the energy that's kind of keeping you stuck right now. You can't always do everything on your own, and you don't have to do everything on your own. I understand for a lot of you, you're solitary creatures. A lot of you may be like introverts, and being alone is what you do, right? But the universe, the spirit is saying you don't have to do this alone. And sometimes we can benefit, even if we are introverts, we can benefit from being around other people, because we pick up on other people's energies. And sometimes, being around positive people, being around people who are happy and go lucky helps us to pick up that energy, and it helps us to motivate closer part. It helps us to push through things as well, right? And it helps to motivate us, and then we get feeling better, and then we have better energy, right? We have the Six of Cups coming up, and then the Six of Wands and behind it. So these are two 2 sixes, 6 and 6. So it talks about twos in numerology are about duality, and then sixes, duality and balance. So while you might be a solitary person and you might be determined to see this through on your own, it is necessary for you to connect with other people as well, right? Like this, I feel like this is an emotional need that we have all, as humans need. Like we may think we're solitary creatures and we can do everything on our own. And when we have the strong will and determination, we can, but it always helps. There's always a part of us that longs to be with community, that longs to be with other people. And there always will, because that's human nature, right? The other thing that came through to me with this was, this is a dude who's successful, but do you see the people behind him on that horse too? He has support. He has a crowd following him. And without those people, he would not be the leader he is, right? So, in order to be successful, sometimes we need that support. We need those people cheering us on to keep moving us forward. Does that make sense? Even not necessarily the people, but we need that energy too. So, it's not only important to, your advice is not only to get around people, but to get around people who build up your energy, who build up your confidence, who help inspire you to move forward and keep pushing forward. Okay. You guys are, like I said, I know there's a part of you guys that are introverts, but every introvert even has that social need to be around people. It is a balance, right? Too much extrovert and always around people, you don't get enough time to yourself to really reflect on you. But if you're too alone, sometimes you get too much time to reflect on you, and then you kind of get stuck in your own personal energies, and you don't really have a flow of energy coming in. um, like I said, people can offer different ideas, different inspiration, different energies, and we can pull in energies from different sources as well, from the environments and the people that we are around. So sometimes just getting out of our day-to-day environment and getting out around different people and different energies, it helps. If you're not a big people person, that's okay too. You just getting into different environments, like I said, in different energies will also help as well. The cards are saying preferably people, but I feel like, not all of us can deal sometimes, especially with what's going on in the world. Not all of us have the opportunity to get out around other people, but sometimes switching up our day-to-day stuff and getting into new situations and new environments as well helps too. So, pile number ones, that was your reading. I hope that that resonated with you guys. If it did, please let me know in the comments below. Um, and if there is a topic, if you would like me to do love readings, spirit guide readings, anything like that, leave your topic in the comments below too. It always helps to give me ideas on, what type of pick a card readings I can do for you guys. So now we're moving on to pile number 2. For pile number 2, the card I pulled is healing, the first card I pulled, and it was in reverse. So if you are a number 2, I'm getting that Spirit is saying it is time to dig deep and do the healing that you need to do. I feel like a lot of pile number 2s have maybe been putting off doing healing work or shadow work, not wanting to do the healing work, or even knowing how. I feel like for some of you, it could be like, you have this healing to do, but you don't know where to start, or you don't know what needs to be healed, right? What am I healing? How do I do it? Where do I start? That kind of thing. So you just kind of been avoiding it. You're like, it'll work out. Spirit is saying now it is time for you guys to dig deep and do some healing. Even if you don't know exactly what you're healing, trust that Spirit will bring it to the surface for you to heal. Sometimes we don't always completely understand what we're healing, but Spirit will provide a way for you to heal it. Okay, even if you aren't 100% sure of what you're healing. So the tarot cards I pulled for you guys. Hold on. I'm missing a card. There it is. I put it in the wrong pile. Okay. So, the tarot cards I pulled for you guys from the one deck about to give us kind of more information on this healing is the King of Cups. Then we have the Five of Swords. We have the Page of Cups. And we had the Seven of Cups on the bottom. So the first thing I noticed when I pulled the cards was the way that they were facing each other. And I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see this the clearest, but you have one person. The core cards can represent people in our lives. So there's one person, two person, and then this huge conflict in the middle. So that was what I noticed first, is that we are healing from a conflict between two people. Now, who are these people? We're going to get into this. So the first thing I noted the first card that came out was the King of Cups. So this could be you guys are healing from a conflict with somebody that was older. I do feel, because the Page of Cups came up also, this was between somebody older, more mature, and somebody younger. I feel like, because I said you guys are doing deep healing, right? I felt like this was healing that went back a long, long time. So this could even be healing from, for a lot of you, I feel like from childhood, right? This is childhood healing. And whatever wound that you incurred could have been inflicted by somebody older in your life. So like a father figure, an uncle, or an authority figure of some sort in your life. Somebody who is prominent, somebody who was a caretaker, somebody who was, had a position of authority in your life. Now, authority can look many different ways. It could have been like a step parent, and a biological parent, a guardian, a babysitter, an uncle, a relative, somebody. But I feel like there was an older person, and then there was you. And in between that was a lot of conflict. And I don't feel like this was arguing. I feel like this was like programming. So when we're little and we're told things and we're given information, we kind of take it in. I feel like, as the Page of Cups is a representation of, in general, of you guys. Most of my pile twos were probably very sensitive children. You guys kind of took everything in. You were really emotional sponges when you were the type of children who, like, everybody called overly sensitive, right? Or they said was like super sensitive, where you would cry really easily. You just took everything to heart. You loved on everyone, that kind of thing. And you were super, super intuitive. And I feel like even to today, you guys continue to carry those abilities. But I feel like, interestingly enough, you were just somebody who took everything to heart, and words particularly. Very observant of everything too. I feel like you guys could have been, underneath of this, very like daydreamy. And I feel like that was a coping mechanism for a lot of you, right? You escaped in your mind into fantasies and imagination. And you may have been a child that was very imaginative under the surface. I'm not thinking that this was openly displayed, but I feel like that was your escape, right? That was how you kind of got away from everything, was going into your imagination. But you were a very imaginative kid. You were a very sensitive kid. You took everything to heart. And at some point along the way, there was an adult or more older person who came into your life. This could have been a parent, this could have been anybody. Who this was is going to be different for everybody, but there was somebody that came into the picture. It started just with very mean, harsh words. Okay. They came in, they started, I feel like this could have been a lot of verbal, psychological, or mental abuse of some sort. But they came in and they were very aggressive with their words. They spoke things, even if they weren't like aggressive, necessarily aggressive, what they said hurt. So when they talked to you in a way that hurt you. They gave you ideas, and as a kid, that's what we adapt as our truth. We take these in because we're still learning the world, right? So as a child, if people tell us we're stupid, oftentimes we grow up believing we're stupid. If people tell us we're smart, we oftentimes grow up believing we're smart, right? We take in all the information that's fed to us. Because we don't necessarily have the tools and ability to kind of discern our own truths yet, typically, right? So we're information sponges, we're emotional sponges. You just take everything in. So when somebody had told you negative things about yourself, you took it in, and that became your belief. Um, and that's what you're healing from, is those beliefs that you have, that you've brought with you from childhood, that you've held onto. This is what you need to heal. You need to You've held on to those beliefs, right? And I'm seeing that with the Five of Swords in the way that the King is. This could be even you into adulthood as well. But I feel like this can represent multiple things. It's one of those readings where one card can represent so many different things. But do you see how this person here in this card, in the Five of Swords, is facing the you, this one, right? So, and he's walking towards you, to this point, walking towards this point, and this is kind of you. So, I see these mental thoughts and these mental beliefs and this mental aggression, these maybe not so positive beliefs, right, being carried with you into this part of into the now, into the present, um, into adulthood, right? Into maturity. If the King of Cups represents somebody that was in your life, which I do because it was at the first point, but I also feel like it's at the end point. That's why I feel like it shows multiple different perspectives, because I almost see the flip flop, right? Where it goes from adult harmful words to you absorbing things as a child, to forming those beliefs about yourself, and then it goes back to you absorbing these harmful words as a child and carrying them into adulthood. It's really weird the way that this reading is playing out, but I feel like for you guys that could be a lot of things. If it wasn't harmful words that said to you, this is just the faulty programming that was brought into your awareness, things that aren't true about you that you learned to believe as a child, and that you have brought into your adulthood that now you need to heal from. Now you need to unprogram these things, right? And these are deep because I feel like a lot of them were from childhood, and a lot of them, like I said, you contemplated the things people said to you. So they said the sky was black. You sat there and thought about that sky being black. Like, you know what I mean? Um, and there were so many different things said to you and implied to you. Now, this, like I said, this doesn't have to be abuse, but I feel like for some of you, this was a lot of verbal, physical, or not physical, verbal, mental, and psychological abuse where people were playing with your mind. For some of you, this might have just been hurtful things, like you grew up with somebody who was very direct and spoke their mind, and as an overly sensitive child, you didn't know how to process that. So that caused wounds. Um, With the King of Cups energy, generally these people don't tend to cause a lot of harm. What happens with Kings of Cups energies is they get overwhelmed easily because they are so emotional. Any of the cups can get really overwhelmed emotionally. And you got to think, when you think of the King of Cups, like this is at the point where the cup is full, full, full. And you can't fit it with anymore. So when you start stuffing more emotions in there, right? um, it overfills and it spills out. And that's where you kind of go back to the Ace of Cups, right? But the Ace of Cups in its negative aspect too is like this overflow of emotion and not being able to necessarily control it, right? And I feel like that's the King of Cups when he's in his negative aspect, he just gets so overwhelmed with emotions and they can't even control it. And sometimes when we get overly emotional, we just say things, right? We blurt things out because we don't necessarily know how to process these emotions and we react to it and we just say things. And I think that for some of you, that was the case, that this person didn't intentionally mean to harm you. And I don't even think that they even maybe seen the impact it had on you as a child. But they were those type of person that they just were so overwhelmed in themselves and they didn't know how to process their emotions that they just kind of lashed out at you. Or it could have been the other way around too, that maybe they're saying that it could have been also the other way around, that maybe you were the overly sensitive child and they were maybe not as sensitive and again didn't know how to deal with that. If they were an air sign or a fire sign, sometimes they clash because they're not very in tune with their emotions, right? And those personality types can clash. And people who aren't in touch with their emotions, when they get around overly emotional people, it's hard for them to understand, right? So, you just get those people who say they suck it up and deal with it. They don't understand how to work through and process emotions. So that can be overwhelming for them, right? And then they end up lashing out at you. But those are the few things that I'm picking up on. So, what is the advice that the tarot has for you guys? We have the Death card and the Ace of Pentacles in behind it. So with this, it's a big release. When you release this, there's new beginnings behind it, but we cannot start over. We cannot move forward when we're still holding on to things. And the famous thing about Earth is it materializes. It holds on to things, right? It is that materialized thing. So we have to, and you can see the hand is literally holding that pentacle. We have to let whatever we're holding on to go, right? Release it. In this case, I don't feel like it's releasing it. This is mental programming, right? So this is coming up in the Five of Swords. Has to do with your mind. So you can't release thoughts necessarily. Sometimes you can. But when thoughts are so embedded in us, it's not like we can just, no, that's not true, right? We have to work on changing and transforming them. Death is also a transformation. So it is talking about putting an end to the belief and putting an end to feeding into the current beliefs you have, the current mindsets you have, right, about yourself. I'm stupid. I'm not good enough. I'm this, I'm that. Things that people have told you that you've come to believe, to stop and reprogram that. Put in new beliefs, put in more positive beliefs, right? So that's where the change and transformation comes in. It's not as simple as just releasing it. You have to change it as it comes in. So the advice that they're saying is, as you catch yourself believing I'm not worthy enough, right? A lot of people struggle with self-worth. If you grow up, being taught that you're dumb or you're just no, yeah, we'll take dumb. Maybe dumb's a little bit of an easier example to work with, right? you grow up being told you're dumb, you're stupid, you'll never amount to anything, right? You grow up believing that. The only way to change that is to program your mind to believe something else. So every time you feel that thought coming in, or you notice that thought coming into your head, stop and change it. Create a different dialogue with yourself. Instead of saying, well, I just can't do this, say, I can do this. I may have such and such challenges to doing this, but I can do this, right? Change the dialogue. Instead of, I'm worthless, I'm never going to amount to anything, change it. When you start feeling that way, when you start thinking that thought, change it into something more positive, right? Affirmations are going to be something that works wonders for my pile twos to help with that healing. Okay. And this is why I said, like, when the healing came up and I said, I feel like for some of you, this could be subconscious in a lot of ways that you don't know what you need to heal from or kind of how, because you've been programmed with that belief for so long that it's just become part of you that you don't, sometimes we don't even recognize we have those beliefs, right? Until they're kind of brought to our awareness. Once they're brought to our awareness, then we can still change it. So you have to kind of, the first step is to become aware of it, right? Become aware of what your false beliefs are or what you've been programmed to believe. And sometimes that takes going back to the beginning and questioning why you feel things and why you think things. And then as you become aware of it, change it. This is going to be a painful process. So we have the three of swords coming up. So this isn't going to be an easy process. It's not an easy thing to do. But remember how I said awareness, right? We have to become aware of our thoughts in order to change them. Threes in numerology have to do with creation, awareness, expansion, right? So three of swords is expanding our thoughts beyond our current beliefs, right? Becoming aware of them and then expanding them beyond that and changing them, creating different beliefs, creating different thoughts. Even though this is hurtful, as we create those different thoughts about ourselves, this hurt will begin to heal because we're not holding on to those painful thoughts anymore. You guys aren't holding on to those painful thoughts anymore. Does that? Hopefully this is resonating. We have the High Priestess that was in behind the Three of Swords, sorry, as well. That will provide a new subconscious, right? You have to reprogram your subconscious because a lot of things that we take in as kids goes into our subconscious. We live a good chunk of our lives operating from our subconscious. So it's really important to not just change these on a surface level, but to change them on a deep level. You may even try playing affirmations and stuff before you go to sleep at night. And then allowing them to sink in while you sleep. So while they're still fresh in your mind, say them before you go to sleep, right? And then they're fresh in your mind as you're going to sleep. So the deeper you get into the sleep cycles, we tap into our subconscious much easier while we're asleep. Our subconscious tends to take over. So what's on our conscious mind slips into our subconscious mind as we sleep. So when you can say, pardon me, affirmations before you go to bed, it allows them to slip into your subconscious a lot easier. So that's another piece of advice. In order to change these, make sure that you're saying these affirmations, but you're not just saying them. You have to believe them. You have to feel them. You have to pull it into your subconscious, into the deepest parts of you, right? You have to make it your belief. And then we have the Queen of Cups with the King of Pentacles and behind it. That is when, only when you believe it will it become manifest. Okay. But with the Queen of Cups, the other thing that I noticed as well is the way that she was facing. She was facing towards the Ten of Hearts, or the Three of Hearts. Sorry, it was this way. So when you're done working through this healing, right, you'll then be able to take what you have learned and help others with it. And that's a big thing. Okay. You're not only healing yourself through this process, but as you heal this yourself through this process, you'll also be able to help others once you've gone through this process. Um, the queen is the nurturer. She is the creative force, right? So you guys are creating this change. If you picked pile number 2, the change is mental. You have to change your thoughts. But as you change your thoughts, you will heal your emotions because you won't have these negative thoughts anymore. You won't have this hurtful programming there reminding you and keeping you hurt. It'll change to something more positive, which will help you in turn heal. And as you heal, you can also help to others to heal because you can be a support. The queen is also very feminine. She's very supportive of other people. You can become an emotional support for other people who are going through the same thing. You will have learned through this process, so you can also share your knowledge that you've learned with the Three of Swords with other people to help them expand and grow from going through the same process that you have been through. Makes sense? I hope that resonated. So that is my reading for pile number 3s. If this resonated with you guys, please let me know. Or pile number 2, sorry, not 3s. Pile 2s. If this resonated with you guys, please let me know. And also, if you have any subjects that you would like me to do pick a card readings on, please drop those in the comments and let me know so I can get some ideas on what kind of readings you guys want. Would be awesome. Okay, so we're going to clear these cards out, and then we're going to do pile number 3s. Last but not least. So pile number 3, we had 2 cards come out for you, 2 oracle cards. So we had the card of truth come out, and we had the card of home come out. So what I picked up from both of these is that this spirit wants you guys to start being honest with yourselves about. There were 2 different scenarios that came through in this. One, that some of you may need to be more honest with yourself about what is going on, and more honest and reflective and open about what is going on within your home and within your sacred space. For others of you, I felt this was more communication and opening up communication within your home, right? Opening up, being open, being able to be open and honest with the people within your home and being able to communicate open and honestly and speak your truth. So there was a couple different ones that came through with that one. So whichever one resonates with you. If none of it resonates with you, that's okay too, because these are general readings. They're not going to resonate with everyone, but hopefully they resonate with some people. So I pulled some tarot cards, and your tarot cards that came out were the Three of Cups, the Ten of Pentacles reversed, the Knight of Swords reversed, and the Eight of Wands reversed was on the bottom of the deck. So with the Eight of Wands reversed on the bottom of the deck, there is a lot of energy being stagnatized in your home. There's a lot of energy around not being able to speak your truth or not being able to see a situation and take action on it. There's just a lot of, I'm going to say, negative energy building up, building up, building up, building up. It's not moving. It's not flowing. There is no energy flow. I feel like within your home, in general, it's just kind of building up, and I kept seeing this box and the square all the time, and that to me represents things that are condensed, things that are contained, right? So all this energy is really being boxed in, it's being contained within your home, and that's because the energy flow of communication of words is not occurring, right? There is no energy flow, there's no give and take, there's no flow with things, so things are stagnatized within the home, and I feel like that energy is felt. It is a very powerful energy, and it is felt by people on, like, I feel like people can walk into your home and they just feel this energy hit them, and they don't even have to be overly sensitive or psychic, like they're, I feel like there's that much energy built up, it's just like walking into a wall of energy, and a lot of people can feel it even if they don't have any spiritual beliefs or they're not psychic or they're not overly sensitive, they feel it. Now, I do feel like most of this revolves around communication, and speaking your truth, being honest with things. But I also, like I said, this could be a situation as well. I do feel like, or could be a situation around not speaking your truth. However, with the Three of Cups, this is normally a positive card, but what came through was not positive when I picked this card up. Normally, I'm drawn to like the opening flower, the lily, things blossoming, things blooming. This time around, I was not drawn to any of that. I was immediately pulled to the woman and how she's standing above everything. So in your home, there's like this, I don't want to say dictatorship, but that's the word that came through. There is this hierarchy of dictatorship, almost like one person rules over everything. One person has the final say. What one person says goes, right? And I think in a lot of homes, there is that sense of hierarchy, kind of, the parents rule over, I don't want to say rule over the children, but you have different levels of things, right? Um, which I'm not a big fan of, but I do understand that, you need authority and you need some sort of structure within the home. And a lot of times that's the structure that comes out. However, in this case, I feel like there is one person that tends to put themselves above others within the home, and they try to rule the home. And I feel like a lot of this causes a lot of problems. If they are allowed to do it, even if they're not allowed to do it, I feel like this causes a lot of problems. Um, because what is happening is they're trying to rule and there's a lack of community. So the Ten of Pentacles, the one thing I noticed that I love about the imagery on this card is it's the the tree of life, the Kabbalic tree of life, right? And in order for this system to work, everything is interconnected. It is a network. Everything works together. So the fact that this card is reversed is saying the system, one, is broken, but the reason why it's broken and the reason why this is because nothing is working together. There isn't this sense of community. There isn't this sense of people being able to work together. Like I said, there's this dictatorship. There's one person trying to rule it all, one person trying to control it all, and nobody's working together. It's not a network. It's not a highly functioning team effort within the home. It is my way or the highway, right? Which causes issues because it breaks down the system of the home. The home is a network. It takes everybody in the home to make a home, to make the home run, to make the home function, right? Everybody has a part to play in that dynamic, right? And I feel like in this case, nobody's working together because that dynamic is broken. Like other people's parts aren't viewed as important. Okay. Um, if this is a situation, it could be that that a certain situation is being prioritized above other things and things aren't just getting done. There isn't a cohesive work together or prioritizing things. There isn't a balance that way. But I feel like it definitely, I'm not even sure the situation thing. I feel like a lot of this is communication. Most of the information that I'm getting, it has to do around communication and the way that the dynamics in the home are functioning around that. We also have the Knight of Cup or the Knight of Swords reversed. So because of the fact that there is one person trying to rule everything in the house, there's an imbalance. We're going to say there's an imbalance of power in the house, right? It's almost like this leader that tries to take too much authority and then realizes, can't. Um, we have it going on in the world right now where a lot of governments are trying to step on the people. It feels like that same kind of energy where one person is just trying to control everything, like a leader on a major power trip, right? And this has kind of stifled the communication. This has what has caused the communication stifle, because the people in this environment, if you are three, when they come into your home, or even the people that live in your home, right? Um, they're like, I can't speak my truth. I can't. They tend to stifle their voices because they know on some level that they're not going to be heard. So they're like, there's no point in using the energy or taking the action to speak my truth, to say what's on my mind, because my thoughts aren't going to be heard anyways. So what happens is they start repressing things, they start repressing things, and they start repressing things. When you repress your voice, when you repress things that need to be said, when you don't say them, what happens is you start bottling it up, bottling it up, bottling it up, bottling it up. What happens when you bottle things up? Eventually, something comes along and triggers it. Or you can't bottle it up anymore, it just explodes like a volcano, right? It pressurizes and pressurizes and pressurizes until boom. And that's when you get the explosion and all the things that have been on your mind that you've wanted to say come out, but they don't come out in the right way generally. Generally, they come out in a very harsh, negative, argumentative, boom on kind of, this is what I gotta say. And, they come out in a very aggressive way, in a very negative way. And that is not a good thing. That is what I'm seeing occurring in the home right now in regards to this truth in home, right? Now, you might not be honest with yourself. Again, I am getting that some of you could even be this dictator and trying to control the home, and other people in the home are really feeling like they can't speak their truth to you. And maybe you don't want to acknowledge that. That could be the situation going on in the home right now. It could be a situation, like I said, of somebody trying to control everything and you not acknowledging that as well and turning a blind eye to it. But whatever the case may be, it's contributing to the problem. It needs to change. So how do we change that? Okay. So, I've got these cards a little mixed up. So to change it, we have the Ace of Swords coming up with the Justice card in behind it. Then we have the Page of Wands, and we have the Nine of Pentacles. So to change it, the first thing is, one, acknowledging that there's a problem. Okay? Bringing the problem into focus. So the Ace of Swords, especially with the Justice card and behind it, you need to acknowledge the problem. There's a big problem behind it, because the Justice card comes up when there's problems that need to be balanced. Things are out of balance, they need to be rebalanced, is generally the problem, right? There are problems that need to be fixed. Otherwise, you wouldn't have the Justice card coming up. Somebody's doing something wrong and it needs to be fixed, right? The Ace of Swords is about bringing that into our awareness. First of all, bringing it into our awareness. So first thing we need to do is acknowledge that there is a problem. So whether you are the problem, whether you are contributing to the problem, or whether you are the person sitting in the background not saying anything, still contributing to the problem, um, is different. That's gonna look different for everyone, but you really need to acknowledge it. The second thing you need to do is start giving yourself a voice. So this is self-expression as well. And not self-expression as in like actions. This is self-expression as in verbally speaking. You need to give yourself a voice. If you are one of these people that has been repressing things, not saying your truth because you're like, what the fuck is the point? Because nobody's going to listen, right? They don't care. They lack empathy. They're not going to listen to me. Why the hell am I going to waste my time saying what I'm thinking? You need to give yourself a voice. Now, the thing with giving yourself a voice does not mean conflictively giving yourself a voice. You know, if there is an issue with somebody being abusive, or there is an issue with, you know, maybe you're dealing with somebody who's a little hot-headed, and if you stand up to them, you confront them, you might make the situation worse. There are several other ways to give yourself a voice. You can give yourself a voice through journaling, through writing out your thoughts. Still self-expression, still expressing what's on your mind, and still putting it out there. There's vlogging and blogging, you know, writing things out. You can put them up on social media, share what you're going through. Maybe there's other people that are going through the same thing that can relate and learn or even support. You might make friends. um, and like I said, there's posting on social media. There is so many different outlets. There's music. Music is another great way. You know, writing and journaling, you might write poetry, you might write stories, you might journal, you might create social media content, you know, write a post about it, do a vlog about it, write a blog post about it. You might turn some music on and sing along, something that expresses exactly how you're feeling and what you're thinking, right? It doesn't matter what it is, as long as the thoughts that are in your head are coming out. It doesn't even matter if it's your words necessarily, right? If there is a song that really resonates with you and you're like, that is exactly what I'm thinking right now, sing it, say it. Words have power, and I think that a lot of times we forget how much words have power. Words carry energy. When we spell things out, we are putting that energy out. When we say things, verbally spelling things out, we are expressing that energy. And that is what the Page of Wands is saying. You need to express that message out. You need to get that energy out and put the message that is in that energy, or the intent that is in that energy, out there. Right? Pages are also messengers. They're a bunch of things, but one of the things that they are is messengers. Put your message out there. Take the energy that is in your words. Take this energy, put it into the form of words, and put your message out there. Get it out there. Because what's going to happen is it's going to manifest. Words are energy. Thoughts are energy. When we express our thoughts, we release that energy. It's no longer in our head. It's no longer, you know, we're releasing that energy out into the universe. We're sending that message to the universe of, this is what I want, right? And the universe can manifest it. You'll see things change. Now, be careful that you're not harping on a lot of the negative. I'm going to say that. Sometimes we just need to release things and we need to get it out there, and we become more self-empowered and self-content, which happens with the Nine of Pentacles as well, by just releasing it, by getting it out there. But understand too that your words hold power, right? So if we're constantly, um, just journaling about negative things, we're going to manifest more negative things. So it's important when we put this into practice too, that we give ourselves a voice, but not just for the bad, for the good as well, right? When you are talking about, when you're journaling and you're like, I had such a bad day, and you're writing down all the bad things, make sure that you point out all the good things as well. But I also had this good thing happen and this good thing happen. And, even if you can't find something to be grateful for, I guarantee there's always something. So make sure that you are balancing the good with the bad, because you don't want to manifest something bad, right? Um, but you need to give yourself a voice. I feel like for a lot of you, your throat chakra is really messed up because you're suppressing your voice. You need to give yourself a voice. That's how you're going to remedy this. You find your liberation, you find your independence in speaking your truth. Speaking your truth. And that's what the Ace of Swords is all about. Speak your truth. Give yourself a voice. In whatever way that looks for you, like I said, that's going to be different for everybody, right? When I was younger, for me, that looked like writing out my poetry. I was so overwhelmed with emotions that I wrote just to get my emotions out, because it was the only way I knew how to express them and how to voice what I was thinking. Because I grew up not being able to really express myself and being stuck in a home where I wasn't free to express myself, right? So writing became an outlet for me. That became my voice. As I grew up and I gained more freedom, I have now learned to use my voice and actually express that. But before, that was my voice. My poetry was my voice. Um, I wrote good poetry. I wrote when I was happy. I wrote when I was sad. I balanced it, but it is important to keep it balanced with the Justice card, right? You want that balance. Don't always focus on the bad, but give yourself a voice. Now for me personally, it's more music. When I get stressed out, when I get upset, when I'm happy, I throw music on and I sing along. That's my voice. There's so many different ways of expressing that, and it's going to look different for everybody, but find a way that resonates with you and express your voice. That is what spirit wants you to do. They're saying you're being repressed. You need to express your voice. If it is you that is causing the problem, it is saying that you need to stop being so immature about it. If this is you and you're the one trying to dominate everything, you need to acknowledge that. You need to accept responsibility for that, right? Accept that you're being a little immature about things and start to change that pattern. Start to be a little more mature. Start to open up to other people's thoughts and other people's ideas and other people's opinions. It starts with becoming aware of your actions, right? Becoming aware of what it is you are doing. And fire is all about actions. The Ace of Swords is all about awareness. So when you become aware of your actions, you can then change them as well. So either way, whether you're the person repressing your voice, if you are, the solution is to find your voice and express it in whichever way that works for you and that looks for you. If you are the person trying to kind of dominate and control everything within the home, it's then you need to kind of open up your mind a little bit be more conscientious about that, bring that into your awareness and then take action on how to try and reverse that and try to be a little more open to other people's ideas and changing that and taking responsibility for that and taking responsibility for your actions. Um, and you do you. Now, if you live on your own, this still could apply to, like I said, this can apply to people coming into your home and visiting as well. Like if they're picking up on this energy of you rule the roost and you're just kind of this unapproachable person, and people come into your home and then they don't know what to say to you. This could come in so many different ways, but there is this general energy of somebody trying to dominate within the home for people either coming into the home or already living there. So I hope this message resonates with those of you who chose number 3. And that concludes the readings for this week, guys. I hope you guys had an awesome time watching this. If you picked number 3 and this resonated with you, please feel free to let me know in the comments below. That would be amazing. And again, if you have any subjects that you would like me to do pick a card readings on, please let me know. And I will be more than happy to do them. I love the ideas because sometimes I don't know what to do. So, yeah, I hope you guys have a wonderful week, and I will see you guys all for more pick a card readings next week. Bye, guys.